So one of the most important pieces of a website is having your visitors contact you. And having a contact box on your website is a great way to keep in touch with your visitors, or to have people who are super interested in your product or your brand get in touch with you. All of my layouts do come with a contact box already set up in it. The only thing that you're going to have to do is set it up so that these messages come to you. So go ahead and you're going to hover over the contact box. You're going to click the gray module settings area. And it's already preset. I like to put the areas in that I think are you're going to be using. But if you needed to add more, if you needed to collect, say, a phone number, we're going to click Add New Field down here. And we're just going to click, the field ID is going to reference how the email comes to you. So just go ahead and type in phone so you know what it is. And the title of it is going to be what actually shows up in this field for your visitors to see. So we'll put phone, our phone number, whichever you choose. And I'm going to click over to design. I don't want this to be a full width area. It's too big. So I'm going to click down here on layout, and I'm going to click make full width and no. And so I'm going to click back over here to content and go back to text. There's really nothing else that I need to do in this area. But what I do want to do is bring this new box up higher because I don't want it below the message. So I'm going to click this button here in field settings to go back to where we were when we first started. Now to drag this up, you just make sure you have this 4 arrow area, and I'm going to select the phone and I'm going to drag it up. So now name and phone are going to be right next to each other. And now this email address, I like to have everything fit perfectly together. If you wanted to add a new field, you could add whatever you want, but since I don't have anything else to add, I'm going to make this email address a full width area just so that it looks a little bit cleaner. So I'm going to click on the email, and I'm going to click on design and layout just like we did with that phone, and we are going to make this area full width so that it looks much cleaner. So say you wanted to change one of these existing fields to say something else, you would just click on the gearbox, and you're not going to change the field ID unless you're completely changing the box, and I'll show you why that's important in just a few seconds. But say you want to change this title to say your name, you just change the actual title name, and then you can click the save button if you're done, but we're not done. We have a lot more to do. So go ahead and click that back button in the field settings, and you're taken back to the main area. Now I'm going to set up how we're going to get the messages from your website and how you're going to receive them. So you're going to scroll down. You don't have to put anything in the title. Usually I will put a title separately up here. I just don't like the way that it looks in the pre-filled box, so just don't even mess with that. Your success message. This is going to be what your visitor sees when they successfully submit their message to you. So you could put, thank you, we will be in touch shortly, or whatever else you want. So after they hit that submit button, that is what will show up. You can also change the submit button text. You can make it say, hit me, or let's do this, anything you want. I just like the submit button for this video, so I'm going to leave that there. So you can change it there. And down here, email. Email is the email address that this message is going to. So you're going to want it to be an email address that you check often, and it's not going to show up on here, so they're not going to have that email address. So down here, this is probably the most complicated thing you'll see in your whole website is the message pattern. If you ever have a question of what something is, there's these little nifty question mark buttons. So this is going to tell you what it does and how to use it. So here you define the custom pattern for your email message. The fields are going to be in the following format, and it's going to be this %%, the field ID, and the %%. So what that means is up here, when we made these little areas, we gave it a field ID. So the field ID is what it's going to tell your website to send to your email. So we are going to put so that we know what's coming over. This is the name field, so we're going to put name. That is just so when you get the email, you're going to know that that is the name field. And then you're going to put %%. That field ID is name %%. So the next one that we have is phone. Let's just double check. The field ID is phone. So let's scroll back down here to email. Let's do phone so that we know what that is. And %% phone. Now the next one that we had up there is email, and you can double check that the field ID is email, and you would do email %% and email. And the next one is message, and again you want to title that and do %% and message. So that is how the email will come over. If they fill out all of these fields, this is how it will come over. It'll have their name and then their actual name, not this %% and field ID. So you're going to want to scroll down, and you can choose to display the CAPTCHA. A CAPTCHA is a way so that you get less spam. Usually Divi uses a math problem, so you can just go ahead and display it, or you can choose not to. The redirect is if you want them, after they successfully submit their message, to be taken to a new page. I rarely use this. I like them to just stay on that one page, but it's up to you, whatever you need for your website. Let's see. If you wanted to change the background or the background color, you could do that. And you can play around with the font title and the form field text to match the rest of your website. You can go ahead, since we did change the body font throughout the website, we can go ahead and change this area to match that font, which is the Roboto. And we can go to thin or light, and it changes that area. You can also change the alignment. You can just play around with the text color as well if you would like. And so that is how you change the contact form settings. Now you can also change the button out to match the rest of your website. Since we did change that background color to that dark color, we can change that here. So 363635 was this hex color. We just take that out and replace it, and now that's there. And we definitely need to change that font color to that snowdrift color, which is EEF0F2. So that's what that looks like. You can also change that button border width and the color, just like we did in previous videos, to be whichever you like. And you can change that border color here. And again, that border radius is just the circularness of the button. You can change the spacing there, and we can change that button font down there to match. And we definitely want to make that thinner. I like it when it's thinner, but you can change the style any way you want. And again, you can change those button icons. So when you're all done, make sure to click that save button, and then down here, click the double or the triple dot and hit save draft. And you have now successfully customized your contact form. Congratulations.